This is Sports Done Right. SCTV sports anchor Done Wright brings you expanded coverage of Sun City athletic action and introduces us to some of our Sun City neighbors who share their sports stories.
Welcome to our final episode of Sports Done Right. For our finale, we look back at the many conversations Doug shared with Charlie Kent, the Sun City Director of Golf Operations. Charlie, you have been so generous with the time and the information that you've shared with Doug for our sports show. Are there any particular recollections you have that sort of summarize the time that you've spent?
Well, Doug was always very interested in the special events that we would do, whether it be shotgun tournaments to raise money for Folds of Honor or some other types of events like that. And Doug and his cameraman would just kind of show up and jump right in the middle of everything to capture the moment. And we would be like, Doug, could you just slide over just a little bit? Or are you going to get run over by a golf cart? But he always loved to be right in the middle of it and really wanted to bring his audience into what was happening that day.
And I know that you had one interview with him where he spent time talking with you about adaptive golf and the other things. So it really seemed like he wanted to reach out and get a true understanding of our golf program and what you particularly do. So that was great.
Yeah, I really appreciated Doug's effort to get the word out on the adaptive golf. In fact, we're going to be doing another clinic in October at the new Okatee driving range, so stay tuned for that. But the mission is to get the word out. So we know that there's folks out there that aren't doing golf anymore because they're concerned about their balance, or they just don't think they can play like they used to. But adaptive means try it and we'll overcome whatever you're dealing with. And Doug got that, and he really wanted to help get the word out, and I appreciate that about him.
Now, is there any special memory that will likely remain with you about Doug?
Well, kind of getting in the way is a memory, but also, he really wanted to get with me and say, hey, what's happening with the golf program? What do you have interesting that's coming up? We've had renovations in the past, and so he wanted me to kind of explain that to the community. And so that's a great memory, just getting the word out, getting information out, and I always appreciated that.
No, we did it too. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Acclaimed author F. Scott Fitzgerald said it, and it rings true. Life starts all over again when it gets crisp in the fall. Here in Sun City, when the weather cools to a livable level, the athletic endeavors of the residents rejuvenate, and there is action everywhere. But tell us a little bit about your background and where you came from and grew up, and who were your childhood inspirations?
Well, thanks, Doug, for that. And I'm an Army brat. My father was a 30-year Army intelligence officer, so we moved around a lot growing up. I ended up doing my high school and college in Texas, and actually played soccer in college. So I have,
that'll be a surprise to some people.
a lot of running in soccer, and I don't do that anymore. But I actually I still have a passion for soccer, and I love watching all the big matches that come on. But played golf with my father growing up, and played in high school, and was always pretty decent at it. So always shooting below 80 in high school, and graduated college with a business degree, and really not sure what I was going to do with myself. And until I was trying to figure out what I could do with my degree, I took a job at the local golf course in Atlanta at the time, and just literally pushing buttons, checking golfers in. And
which course was that?
It's a little Army golf course called Fort McPherson. That's actually not there anymore.
Right. Yeah, I'm from Atlanta.
Oh, okay. And it, I was actually ended up doing it for a year and a half. I really enjoyed it. And one day, this old retired golf pro sat me down and bought me lunch and said, "Have you ever thought about becoming a PGA professional?" And I'm like, I don't know what that is. Tell me about it. And when he explained to it that you're literally the manager of a golf business, and you can teach and you get to play some, and it kind of checked off a lot of boxes for me. So at that moment, I decided sounds like what I would like to do. And ended up, my father was transferred from Atlanta out to Hawaii, and I made the decision, if I'm going to get into this golf business and pursue my PGA certification, why not doing it in Hawaii? Who wouldn't when you're 22 years old? And so I went out to Hawaii, and that's where I started my journey. I worked 3 years on the island of Kauai. From there, I moved with my new wife. We moved to San Antonio to start our life together. I was working for the Hyatt Hotel Corporation, and started a brand new resort there. And from there, Hyatt moved us to Aruba. Spent 3 years.
You've had a tough career path here.
It actually gets even better, believe it or not. Went from Aruba actually back to San Antonio for another 4 years. And from San Antonio, decided to leave Hyatt, and was fortunate enough to be the opening director of golf right down the road at the May River course at Palmetto Bluff. Was there for 7 years.
Okay.
And that was a great experience being there, and actually got to introduce Jack Nicklaus to the membership and during the grand opening. And spent 7 years there. There was unfortunately, my position there ended during the whole real estate crisis back in 2010, 11. From there, we were fortunate enough to land a job in Lake Tahoe. And so I was out at Lake Tahoe running 2 golf courses for a community, much like Sun City. Spent 3 years there, and then was able to land a job as the director of golf down at the Four Seasons in Orlando, and opened up that property. So spent 3 years there, and at that time my son was wanting to. He was graduating high school and wanted to go to the Citadel, and my wife and I kind of had enough of the Orlando rat race, and I reached out to my friends at Troon, and just to kind of find out what was out there, and they said, we actually have something in South Carolina, and is at Sun City, which I knew from my time in the area before, and it just seemed like everything was lined up perfectly for us as a family to come back to this area for my son, and the opportunity to work here and manage 3 golf courses for Troon was really something nice for my experience and my background, and so that was 6 years ago. I've been here since the fall of 2017, and very pleased and happy to be here, and hopefully I get to stay here for many more years.
Well, that would be great in most people's minds, I'll tell you. We should take to heart of the words of the ancient Greek physician Hippocrates, who, in addition to authoring the Hippocratic Oath taken by doctors through current times, once said that a wise man should consider that health is the greatest of human blessings. Well, Brian, we're here on a windy morning here at the pickleball courts on the north side to talk about the Low Country Pickleball League. Tell me what that is.
Well, first of all, it's a pleasure to sit and talk with you, Doug. I appreciate the opportunity to promote the league. The Low Country Pickleball League is an adult recreational pickleball league that's founded or centered in the Low Country. It encompasses Hilton Head Island out to Beaufort and all the beautiful communities in between.
And how many communities are involved, and what are the formalities, I'll call it formalities, of the league?
Well, there are currently roughly 30 communities participating, and the formalities are that each community who is interested registers through a registration form via a captain's interest form. Once we have a captain from a community, that represents a team. So each season, I'll send out a captain's interest form to the entire membership within the league, and people step forward and volunteer to become a captain for their team representing their community.
Okay, that sounds fairly simple, and I'll refer to you as the organizer and the administrator rather than the commissioner. But you are, in fact, the guy that started this. And how many years ago was that?
Well, actually, I took it over. The league was founded approximately 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I participated in it for 3 of the 4 seasons, and they had a COVID pause. I felt that the league was too nice of a organization and too fun to just see it go to the wayside. So I approached the previous commissioner and had a conversation and decided that I'll take up the gauntlet and we'll move forward and reopen the league. And that was in the fall of 2021. We started an abbreviated season with roughly 8 communities and approximately 475 players. This fall, we will have 71 teams participating with 1,012 players playing in this season's the fall season, women's doubles fall season.
That sounds like tremendous growth. Now, do you have to be a member of the Sun City Pickleball Club?
Well, specifically in Sun City, yes, you have to become a member of the Sun City Pickleball Club in order to participate in league play. Other communities, they vary. You could just be a member, a resident of a community to participate in league play. Other communities, I think 1 or 2 others, you've got to be a pickleball club member to participate.
Okay, and there's no conflict with the club activities?
Actually, no. I don't believe there's a conflict. If anything, it gives people in Sun City an opportunity to play pickleball, to play more pickleball, and in slightly more competitive atmosphere. When you play casually amongst players here in Sun City, my belief is it should be, and it is, a more relaxed participation, more relaxed play. However, when you step foot on a court, when you're playing another community, that is a little excitement via adrenaline and anticipation of participation and not wanting to lose. So it is that excitement.
Do you have particular charities in this area that you like to support?
Well, first and foremost, we do like to keep it local. And last season, we ran 2 charity events. The first event was for the Boys and Girls Club of the Low Country, and the second event was for the Bluffton Self-Help Group. This season, we're kind of running tight towards the end of the year. We haven't been able to elicit courts from communities to let us run our tournament. We may have one coming up before the end of the year. We haven't figured out what charity we're going to sponsor. That's always a challenge. Who's the most needy at the particular time? But this season, because we did not run a charity event, and I do believe in the Bluffton Self-Help Group as a great organization, with registration fees changing in the fall, I decided to take $1 out of every registration fee. So we should donate a check for over $1,000 this season to the Bluffton Self-Help Group again.
All right, well, that sounds great. This whole concept sounds like a wonderful way to expand your pickleball experience and do some good in the community besides. Well, Brian, your league sounds like a great idea and a great concept that's working, but I want to find out a little bit about you. Where are you from originally?
The glorious state of New Jersey, the Garden State of New Jersey.
Well, it's a beautiful place. My wife is from Bergen County, but in any event, who was your inspiration, or what was your inspiration to get into so many sports?
I've been involved in many sports since I was a child, and I just kind of gravitated to football, or Americans call it soccer. I've been participating in soccer since I was 8 years old, and never lost that bug. So playing through my youth, through high school, college, recreational play. I became involved in coaching and refereeing, and my referee career kind of took me off in a different direction, to the extent that I started refereeing local tournaments, local youth leagues, and that grew into high school, to collegiate, to USSF, United States Soccer Federation, and eventually became a national referee for United States Soccer Federation. And I was lucky enough to work my way up to the professional divisions for a few years. Back in the 90s, early 2000s, I refereed all three divisional professional divisions, from MLS down to the semi-pro division. So I've always been had a competitive nature about me, and leading back into our league, as I said earlier, I participated in the league for 3 seasons, and I just had a blast. I thought it was a very fun league. It gave us that opportunity to get that little competitive bite again. So again, after the league closed, I just felt it was too valuable a league to allow to go to the wayside. So I took it upon myself to approach the previous commissioner and decided to, with her assistance, reopen the league. And so here we are today, 3 years later, 8 communities to 30 communities, approximately 900 registered members, to this season reaching the 3,000 member milestone.
Well, that's terrific. And let me ask you this about refereeing. How did it look from the other side?
Well,
Let me put it another way. Did you have to undergo any training to become a referee, or you just walk out there and say, yeah, I'm going to call everything I wanted called when I was playing?
no, a true funny story is my wife got me involved in refereeing. I was always a quiet player until I started coaching my boys, and I got rather vocal, to the extent that one Saturday afternoon, my wife came home and threw her pocketbook and the keys on the table and said, "I will never come to another soccer match while you're coaching, because you think you know the rules, but you don't. Go and take a referee test, and then maybe we'll talk." So it became quite extensive at the end, but I took the test, and I got worse, because I realized there were things that referees weren't doing, such as positioning, and to be in the right position to make a call, to see a call. So my wife came to a match, and we came home again, and she said, "Okay, you think that it's such an easy job, why don't you put on those tight little shorts and grab a whistle and go out and do it yourself?" So I did.
Remember the name Wilma Rudolph? Think back 64 years when she burst out on the national stage by winning gold medals in sprinting at the Rome Olympics. It was a highly unlikely moment, as she had to overcome a bout with polio in her childhood and other afflictions which made it difficult for her to even walk. She once said, "Never underestimate the power of dreams and the influence of the human spirit." She embodied that credo and became an inspiration for millions of people to realize their dreams. This month, we'll go in depth with some residents of some city who have pursued dreams and achieved great success in the sports about which they are passionate. First, we spoke to Donna Lerner and Kathy Bounds, who shared their past and current activities which keep them motivated. Well, Kathy Bounds and Donna Lerner, we're going to talk today a little bit about your adventures in golf, but first I want to find a little bit about you guys personally, and we'll start with you, Donna. Where were you raised?
Oh, wow. Let's see. I was raised on Long Island, but spent my winters on Hilton Head Island so that I would have access to play golf year-round.
Oh, really? So you were showing some early promise.
Yes, we'll stay with that.
Okay, well, that's very modest of you. And how about you, Kathy? Where were you raised?
I was raised in North Carolina in a little town called Rayford, which is right outside of Fort Bragg. A lot of people know about where that is. But I was born and raised in North Carolina all my life.
And so how did you start off playing golf? Who was your inspiration?
My dad. My mom and dad are very athletic. They played baseball and basketball all in their high school years. and then my dad took up golf, and so he was in the banking industry. So at that time, banks were closed on Wednesday afternoons and Saturday afternoons. So on Wednesday afternoon, he'd grab me from school and I'd go caddy for him. So as he would go to putt, I would run up to the next tee and then I would hit. So I kept bruises on the side here because the golf clubs were too long. So that's how I started at 8 years old.
Now, did you have brothers and sisters to compete with?
I do. I have two younger sisters. And yes, we competed. We have a very competitive family. So, but they were more into the tennis and those type of sports. But now they have taken up golf, so the entire family plays.
Oh, excellent. And Donna, I understand you were an only child, spoiled to death, and so on and so forth.
Yes, sir, that's true.
Well, tell us about your inspirations when you were growing up.
Well, the golf inspirations came directly from my dad. I would sit on Sunday afternoons and watch him watch golf. I wouldn't even watch the golf. I would watch him watch golf.
Okay.
And his passion was so deep that I wanted that. I wanted to feel that. He would get so excited. And so the game just became a part of me as a result because I wanted to be like Mike.
Okay, I got it. But then, almost near tragedy or kind of a tragedy struck. You also were...
I was an equestrian, and at age 14, I had a terrible accident and broke my back in 3 places. And it ended my equestrian career because one more fall and I could very well have been crippled.
Right.
Yeah. So I then turned my energy more towards the little white ball.
Okay. And when did you actually get into really competitive golf?
I was 7.
Really?
Yes. I played my first state championship at 7 amongst the big kids, It was fun.
I'll bet. And how about you? When did you start competing?
Well, I started playing when I was going with my dad, like I said, when I was 8. But I really didn't get my first golf club until about 10. And I started competing when I was 12.
And you guys worked together in North Carolina for some 23 years. How did you meet? And I hope it's the same story. And how'd you get together for this business venture?
Well, we met at the 1996 U.S. Women's Open at Pine Needles. Kathy was running a hole, and she was being a cowboy, a renegade, and I actually was standing there watching her, and I was fascinated by how she was breaking all the USGA rules and letting all the children sit on the back of the tee box and watch the players. And I thought, she's a cowboy. I like her. I think she's going to be fun. And I knew of Kathy because she won the World Amateur Championship in the Gross Division in 1985. Okay. And so I already knew of her. She was a top 10 player in the tri-state area for many, many years. So we just became friendly from that perspective, and we just built a friendship.
Does that coincide with your recollection? Cowboy?
She's absolutely correct. Yes. I had worked for quite a few years with the USGA in coordinating a lot of the major tournaments and stuff. So I met Donna through that, and I had a passion for the kids because the little kids would come up, and of course the adults were shading them out. So I made them all come up. Of course, USGA didn't like that, but it was a ladies' event. And I said, just get over it because you have to invest in the youth. And if we don't do that, then the golf particularly, I think, will die. So she's absolutely correct.
And what was the nature of the academy that you guys ran up there in North Carolina?
Well, the nature of the academy was, our slogan was to change lives one swing at a time. And we wanted to make sure that we just didn't teach them how to swing. We taught them the game of golf. And there's more than just hitting that white ball. So we tried to encompass and encapsulate other people within our academy, whether we were bringing in the fitness portion or the mental portion or the fitness, like I said, but the swing and also the rules. We wanted to encompass all that. So that's what we wanted our academy to be, and that set it apart from a lot of the other teaching professionals in the area.
Okay. And Donna, what does it take to be certified as a teaching professional?
People don't understand that, quite honestly. They think you decide you're a good player, you're going to teach. As a rule, good players don't really know how to teach. So it's a 3 to 5 year program. There's a lot of expense involved in the training.
Is it a full-time program?
It is a full-time program. And you're going to learn not only the aspects of the golf swing itself, but motor function, biomechanics, neuro-linguistic programming, how to identify whether someone is left or right brained, whether they learn fast, whether they learn slow. Using the right verbiage really does it expedites the process in a positive way. We had to learn about equipment and how to make it compatible to the person swinging it. And there's a lot of information out there that's generic. Golf Digest keeps a golf professional in business because they put out these wonderful tips that are completely generic and don't work for anyone. So everyone tries them, and then they need a golf lesson to fix their golf swing. So,
Okay, and then a few years ago, after 23 years, you decided to retire and move down here. And what do you do these days?
well, we play golf a couple days a week. We play bocce. Kathy is very active in softball. We're about to begin to play pickleball. We have a tremendous social network. We live on a wonderful block, and everybody's very, very fun, and we stay pretty busy. We do, and the beach is just always a phone call away.
Well, that's a fact. And in terms of staying involved with golf programs, Kathy, what are you doing?
Well, we actually have joined the WGA here, and we are trying to play with a lot of different folks. This is going to be a better question for Donna because she's become very active in the golf program here at Sun City. But for me, like I said earlier, I'm here to play. My teaching is done. I'm here to play.
Yes, but you also are involved in some tournaments for youngsters, and I'd like to hear about that.
Yes, we got involved with U.S. Kids a little over about 20 years ago. And as a result of that, we are now international directors for them in running their tournaments. And those tournaments are for kids for age 5 to 18, mostly concentrating on age 5 to 14. And so we go up and down the eastern seaboard, across the country, across the pond, whatever U.S. Kids, wherever they need us to be. And we do that about every 5 to 6 weeks. And because of that, the kids that came through our academy, we get to watch them grow because they're coming through. So, tournaments can be anywhere from 300 kids to 3,000. The World Championship is at Pinehurst, and we encompass 8 to 10 golf courses, and we'll have about 3,000 kids that'll come through in a span of about 2 weeks.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. And I understand you're trying to bring a tournament to this area, and you'll need some help with that, right?
We will need some help. I just want to add something that Kathy said.
Sure.
That the World Championship is about 3,000 players between the 2 weeks, but it also represents approximately 49 states and 51 countries. So it's a pretty dynamic experience for young people to see people from other places that love the game like they do.
In each month's Sports Done Right episode, Doug shared a poignant quote. So we wrap up this sports series with a thank you to Doug and a quote from A.A. Milne. How lucky are we to have something that makes saying goodbye so hard. Thank you for watching.